Aitor, first up, have all the players that have been involved in international duty come back fit and healthy? What's the state of the squad?
Yes, all of them have returned really well. So some of them have played more, some of them less, but the main thing, especially when we have, I don't know how many now, 6 or 7 players in the national team, to come back again with all of them fit is really good, because especially playing on Sunday, we have one more day to prepare the game.
I know quite often when a team's in a good run of form, international breaks are seen as an inconvenience for a club manager, but for Middlesbrough, the way the season started, did this international break come at a good time so you could reassess how it had started?
We've had 2 international breaks, and the first one we were unbeaten, and the second one we didn't win one game. So the fixtures are in the air at the beginning of the season, so we know. And now the main thing for me is the game that we played against West Ham, because after the previous 3 defeats against Crystal Palace, Everton and Tottenham, to finish that period playing in the way that we played, in the right attitude, the right organization, in the right everything, it was really good to show ourselves and to show everybody that we can compete against everybody.
And speaking of that game, just how important was it, as you say, on the back of 3 defeats, to get on the board, get a draw and stop the rot?
It was really good for us, again, especially to know and to understand again that we have to play every single game 92, 93 minutes 100% concentrated, because again, the mistakes that we made against Everton, Tottenham or Everton penalized a lot. So for a reason, we have to know that even against West Ham, in not their best moment, we had to fight till 92, 93 minutes, and for a reason, we have to go to the pitch on Sunday with the same attitude, and hopefully we can win our first game at home, and I think it's the main thing for our crowd.
What are your thoughts on Watford then? Because they've had a slightly indifferent start to the season, but on their day they're capable of competing with anyone.
No, they are a really good side. They have a really experienced manager, and we played against them 2 seasons ago, but last season for them, especially for a recently team promoted, was really good. Now they have one more season experience than us, and for a reason it's going to be a really tough game, because again, if you want to call these kind of games our league games, they are more experienced, they have players with more experience than us. For a reason it's going to be a tough game, but once again we have to focus ourselves. It's a good chance to win our first game at home, but always knowing that we have to be 100%.
If I can get your thoughts on Troy Deeney as well, and what type of player he is, and what sort of problems he poses for you.
I suffered in the past, and I know how good he is. And if I remember the last game when we played against them, we were winning 1-0. We were much better than Watford, and when Deeney went to the pitch, everything changed. So for a reason, the last memory, it was really good to analyze again, to know how good he is. But now he's in a better team, with better organization, better players, more quality. So for a reason, even more dangerous.
It goes without saying, I guess, that in the media we'll look at this game and say it's a big game because of the relative positions of the teams and so on. Put it into context, though, can you, if you will? How big is this game for Middlesbrough in terms of the season and what you hope to achieve?
Again, it's an important game, because again, if you look at the beginning of the season, Watford is the opponent that you are looking for playing against them, because again, 2 seasons ago they were in Championship, and it's another good example for us. But once again, after Watford, we have Bournemouth at home, especially after Arsenal away. So every single game is important, and for sure, it's my first season, but for sure we are going to lose games when we thought that we had to win, and for sure we are going to win games when everybody is expecting to lose. So for a reason, it's just to focus every single game.
And just finally for me, I know Dale Fry's on loan at Rotherham at the moment, but have you had a chance to talk to him about being asked to train with the full England squad and what effect that had?
I know him for a few years, and I know his face is the same face that he had 2 years ago, and his ambitions are the same, and is to play. His ambitions is to play in this club in the Premier League, and he can do it. And for that reason, he's going to play tomorrow with his team, forgetting that he was with the national team, because he's the kind of player that he's going to be successful, because the main thing, he has his feet on the ground.
Hi, Aitor. Just to go back to Troy Deeney for a moment, Alan Shearer said that he feels that Deeney's playing well enough to put himself in contention for a call-up for England. Do you agree with that?
It's maybe not the right reference, but Troy Deeney is the kind of player that I like a lot. I like a lot because, again, when I came here, and always you are trying to sign a striker. He was one of the first, or the first in the list. At that time was impossible. The following season they got promoted. So, but it's a player who I really like him.
And last season, a lot of people thought Watford might struggle, that they might get relegated, but they ended up staying up fairly comfortably. Are there things you can learn from them as a club, as Middlesbrough look to do something similar?
I hope, and it's, again, but it's the seventh fixture, I think, and I started against Stoke saying that it was a good example for us. We are going to play against Watford, and it's another good example for us. So for our vision is just to keep going, to keep learning, to keep adding experience, because this Premier League is about experience, because the quality and the team spirit, we have it.
You've got a little run of home games coming up against teams in the bottom half of the table, apart from the Chelsea match. How important is it to get wins on the board in those games?
No, we have just Watford and Bournemouth at home, because we have away Man City, Arsenal, so Chelsea after those. So again, if I go to the board and I look at the fixtures, sometimes difficult to find a game to add points, but just is the board, and for a reason I'm gonna go to the game on Sunday, thinking that we have to win the game in the same way we will go to Arsenal, and it's our style.
And home form was such a key part of your success last season. Obviously, the Premier League is a step up, but are you confident you can make the Riverside a cornerstone of what you're doing again this season?
Yes, because they know, and they are the first who know how difficult Premier League is, and how tough has been for them to be in Championship the last 6-7 years, and for a reason they know that the aim this season is to survive, and they were used to win last 2 seasons every single game at home, and Premier League is different. But once again, and the message that the people transmit me on the street is that they are confident, because they know that we are able to survive.
Do you pay attention to the table at all at this early stage of the season? Do you look over your shoulder at the relegation zone, or is it just too congested for that at the moment?
No, I think it's soon, because again, I prefer to analyze our games as soon as possible, to try to correct the mistakes. I try to analyze the opponents as soon as possible, to try to train on the pitch the things that we are gonna do on the games, and I think now it's really soon to look at the fixtures at the table.
And finally, from me, as you say, you're looking for that first home win of the season. Still just one win in the Premier League this season. Does that play on your mind at all?
No, not, because one day will arrive, and playing in the way that we played against West Ham, adding experience. Because again, the worst thing that the worst mistake that we can make is to play at home against Watford or against Bournemouth with that pressure, thinking that we have to win those games, because if we don't win those games, we are going to have problems. So the reason is just to play in the way that we have to play. We are in October, so we have to improve every single week.
Thank you.
Aitor, you mentioned all your internationals came on fit well. Is everyone else okay?
Sorry?
Are all the other players apart from the
Yes, just Grant a little bit, but I think it's going to be soon with us.
Can you see your team with each game adapting to the Premier League? With each game, is your team adapting, getting used to the Premier League?
I think, and I hope, because for me, one of the things that we are missing is that is the experience. And again, we we were lost 15 minutes against Everton and we conceded 3 goals. We were lost the first half against Tottenham and we lost that game, and I hope we learned from those mistakes and we went to West Ham playing more consistent, more organized, more concentrated, and we competed against them, knowing that they were in their best. But for a reason, correcting those mistakes, and those mistakes again, it's for me sometimes it's experience. And for example, last 2 seasons and a half when we scored first, it was impossible to beat us, and this season we scored against Everton and against West Ham, and 5 or 6 minutes later they equalized the game. So for a reason is just to try to score first and to keep calm and to play in our way.
You have a lot of new players who haven't played in the Premier League before, but Antonio Barragan seems to have settled very quickly. How impressed have you been with how he's taken the life in the Premier League?
Good, and I said before that when we signed him, maybe he was a surprise for everybody, but I knew him, and he's played a lot of games in Spain. He got qualified for the Champions League with Valencia, so I know and I knew his quality, his potential, and especially his manner, because he's a good man, and he brought us more things about the thing that he does on the pitch.
You spoke about Watford and playing them 2 seasons ago. Given the game, the way they played against you 2 seasons ago, have you not been surprised at all at how easily they've taken to the Premier League?
Yes, but that season, for example, they got promotion, and the 3 players up front, Vidra, Dini and Igalo, scored almost 70 goals. So for a reason they got promotion, but last season, even without scoring those goals, they did an amazing season. They survived. Maybe in February or in March, they had points enough to survive in Premier League. So for a reason, they did a really good season. They are now more experienced, and for us is the first season.
I mean, it's remarkable in a way, because I think in the time that you have been at Middlesbrough, they've had 7 different managers. I mean, you wouldn't expect a club to have that consistency with that changeover.
Yes, for that reason I said that always I am lucky. I'm proud of being here, but once again, it was my decision, and every single day I can say that I did the right thing.